Testing. Test. All right, rule number 9. Introductory words, phrases, and clauses, which we have been talking about as we talked about prepositional phrases and dependent clauses and adverbs. We call them transitions. Transitions are used to connect ideas together. First of all, spiders have 8 eyes. My introductory word here is first, or my introductory phrase here is first of all. Because you hear the pause, first of all, pause, spiders have 8 eyes. I could get rid of that phrase and the sentence would be fine. I'd just be left with spiders have 8 eyes. That phrase transitions it, connects it to another idea, previous or that's coming up in my paragraph. My proof then, why do I have the comma there? Because I have an introductory phrase. Introductory phrases are slightly different from clauses because a clause has a subject and a verb. It just begins with one of these words. What do we call these words? Because, if, when, and a woobus. And a woobus, or a subordinating conjunction, starts a dependent clause. But again, you hear the pause. Because they have 8 legs, pause, they can stalk you better than any other insect. Okay, here's my comma. I need a proof. My proof is up here. I do want you to separate your proof. Are you talking about an introductory word, an introductory phrase, or an introductory clause? And in this case, it's an introductory clause. All right, rule number 10, the compound sentence. This is really what we're going to be moving into next. Should be review. I know you've talked about compound sentences before. A compound sentence joins 2 independent clauses. We talked about that yesterday when we did our little mind map. An independent clause is the proper way of saying a complete sentence. Catch the spider, comma, and dispose of it before Mrs. Culleton notices. I've got a comma here because I have one complete sentence, catch the spider. It expresses a complete thought. And then another one, dispose of it before Mrs. Culleton notices. Since I'm joining 2 sentences together with the comma conjunction, that's a compound sentence. So for my proof, what's my reason for putting the comma there? It's because I have a compound sentence. It's not an introductory phrase. It's not a date. It's not any of the other rules that we've used. This rule specifically goes with a compound sentence. And this should be the last rule, the interrupter. And it's pretty self-explanatory. To interrupt something, it's a word or a phrase or a clause that interrupts the flow of the sentence. Mrs. Culleton, however, won the battle because her students vanquished the man-eating spider before she even entered the room, which is what I hope would ever happen if you found a spider before I came in here. Now, this interrupter I could take out. Mrs. Culleton won the battle. The interrupter is there to add a little sentence variety, break up the sentence structure a little bit. If I had a bunch of very kind of boring sentences put together, this is a good way to break them up. So my proof, how many commas do I have here? 2. So how many proofs do I need? 2. The proof is going to be the same though. The comma rule is that I have an interrupter. Okay, this comma is here to separate this interrupter. If the interrupter is at the beginning, it's actually called a transition. It's when it interrupts the flow of the sentence. So it performs basically the same job. We're just putting it in a different place in the sentence. All right, your last sentence. There is, unfortunately, no fun video to watch for interrupters for this one. Okay, so this is your last example for the interrupter. 2 commas. How many proofs do I need? 2. So I'm going to put them right over the comma, over the first comma and my second comma. There's my interrupter. Okay? All right, and there's your direction for your next activity.